Hello there everybody, my name is Wolfyowns, and welcome back to some more Dead by Daylight, where today we have a special video. We're going to be talking about patch 1.4 that's coming out in the near future. It's going to be coming out real soon, hopefully soon enough. Like, it could get delayed, but hopefully it's going to be out in 2 weeks, hopefully. So, to be prepared for the patch that's coming out in 2 weeks, there's quite a bit to talk about. We're going to be going over the stream from last week and this week. Not every single detail, but we're going to be going on about most of the stuff that's going to be really important that might affect your gameplay big time. We've gone over a lot of stuff. So we're going to look at the stream right now. I'm going to show you clips of it. We've got some gameplay here, and we're going to talk about it. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts and my feedback about how I feel about the things that are coming.
Tech to our character and to our customizations that is called Apex. So it's a clothing simulator, so that we can actually get some clothing flapping about and moving. We have a little video to show you how it looks on the raid, for example. Bjorn, if you can start that video for us, please. So if you notice the little flappy bits on his cloak, so a lot of different characters will have flappy bits like this.
It's much more fluid.
Yeah,
it looks much better. And it's much simpler than the system we had right now, which was to actually animate all of this by hand, more or less, and then it looks sort of moderately.
Alright, so that's pretty cool. We're going to have add more animation to our characters, which means there are floppy bits, there's little pieces that hanging off of them are going to be a little more animated. It's going to be pretty cool because they're going to be moving and swaying when you move. That, I think, is going to be pretty cool. It's going to look more live-like, more realistic. So that's going to be pretty awesome. The raid's going to be kind of cool with that. I think I might play him a little bit more just because of that. That's cool just itself. So a little more animation. So next we're going to be talking about the swamp. No one likes the swamp. I don't know any killer that likes the swamp. Survivors like it because it's really big. And there's tons of stuff they'll survive with. But we're going to be talking about the swamp real quick here. I'm going to show you a clip of them talking about the changes coming to the swamp. It's going to be pretty cool.
Why is it that big? You know, is it just... Did it just happen like this? You know, it was something that we wanted to do. We wanted to create the biggest map yet, and wanted to see how it played. And well, I mean, we loved it, and we kept it as is. Now we're looking into making all of our maps with something special. So we don't want to have like the same map layout and the same map size just for the sake of keeping a perfect balance in every one of them. So balance is there. Like, it's not like the map is super unbalanced. The map needs to be balanced, but in its own way. So what we've changed to the swamp to make it more balanced, there will be more hooks on that map.
That'll help.
Yeah, there's going to be less pallets.
Fewer pallets.
Fewer pallets. The pallets within the boat, though, are still should still be the same. So this building is a controlled area, and it's good. But around the level, there should be fewer pallets. And they're also going to be affected by the random placement of pallets and the density now. This is a new system that's coming with the patch as well. The gens that were at the very border of the map,
which was kind of interesting. It was the first map that ever had gens on the border tiles.
Absolutely, but we judged that there were too many there. So what Matt did is that he made sure that the percentage of chance that generator spawn on the border tile is reduced. So we take the gameplay and we place it more in the center of the map. So this should change a lot of things for the killer. There are two interactive logs with a vault on each side of the boat. People who play the swamp knows about this very well. So now only one of the two is going to appear. That's going to change it a little bit. And also there has been some changes to the density of bulrushes. So the vegetation is a little bit lighter. These are the changes. So it's quite a lot, and it should change how killers can play in these maps.
That is pretty dang awesome if you ask me. I really like that idea. Like, everything's going to be more closer and tighter. There's going to be a lot more hooks. The swamp map's going to be the first map that has more hooks than 7. Every map has 7 hooks. That's how it is. Just every map has 7. The swamp map will be the first one to have more than 7. And that's pretty cool if you ask me. I like that. Everything's going to be closer. One of the logs are going to get removed so you can't vault over it. There's just a lot of changes, and that might help out killer quite a bit. Vision loss is also getting reduced so you can see more. So that's also really cool. So next we're going to be talking about the layouts. We're going to be listening to them. I'm going to give my opinions afterwards. The new loadout that's coming with the menu, which is going to be pretty cool. I think you guys will like it. I like it quite a bit, but we're going to look at it right here real quick.
Bjorn, if you want to start with the first image, I'm going to explain what's going on. So the first change that's going to happen is that you'll be able, all of this is work in progress, like it is shown on the
It says
screen.
not final.
Not final, work in progress. So you'll be able to quickly see the loadout of each character with a tooltip on each of your character.
That's very cool.
So that's the first change. It's going to be easier to select the character that makes the most sense in the current situation if you have different builds ready.
Especially when you have like 12 seconds left until the game starts.
Exactly. And next. This is another change coming to the loadout, which is very exciting as well. So we've combined the loadout of the character and the whole inventory. So you don't have to click on a perk to change that perk. You just have to, well, you don't have to change screen actually. You just have to tab it to use the buttons and go change it. It's going to all be made automatically and you will be able to see it properly. Next one. Ears. Definitely, absolutely work in progress. Yeah, Sarah was like, please make sure that they know that this is a basic blocky. So this is the interesting part with the question from Dark Broccoli. So each character, owned or not in the game, will have an information screen like that, where you'll be able to see the perks that this character
will be available.
Have available. So if you're playing against the Hag, for example, but you don't have the DLC and you want to know more about her, you'll be able to come here and check what's going on, what are the information about this character.
Yep.
But you'll also be able to see when you have this character which perk you've unlocked and which teachable you have unlocked.
Alright, so that's pretty awesome if you ask me. I really like that idea. So basically, you're going to be able to see your own character's loadout just by looking at the character select screen. So you just put your mouse over it and you can see what they're rocking, what you have, what build you have on them, what you got going on and everything. That's pretty cool. So you don't have to ever switch to your character and be like, oh, what am I using on him? Switch to him and then go to loadout and then look at your perks and then go to offerings and stuff. Oh, look at your items and everything. It's all going to be right there. That is really cool. Because I know if you're me, I hate changing between the two. I hate going, oh man, I gotta go to loadout, I gotta go to perks, I gotta go to offerings, and I gotta switch over to this, and I gotta switch over to item, then I gotta switch over to add-ons afterwards. There's just a lot of switching that's, I think, very unnecessary, so it's really cool that they're changing that. That's really awesome. I like that a lot. Alright, so the next part we're going to talk about and look at is the removal of auto-aim, or the lock-on aim for killers. This part's going to be a little long, so bear with me, but like this part's very important to killer mains and killer players and stuff, and me. I play both sides. I don't just play Survivor. I play killer quite a bit. I get rank 1 every season on both sides. This is actually very important because the auto aim is going to get removed, which means you're not going to get that free hit sometimes that you randomly get, or like it's going to be a lot harder for you to hit players because you won't have that auto aim. You won't have the lock on part where your character snaps and hits them, especially for the nurse. This is going to be a big effect on the nurse probably. She's probably going to suffer the most from it because she won't be able to just like, you won't be able to blink and all of a sudden you swing and snap to the person and hit them. So this is a big change that we're going to go over real quick here. That's why it's so long, but there's quite a bit to it, and I really want you guys to get the whole understanding of this part because this is really important for killers. So we're going to look at that real quick here for you guys, and then we're going to go over it afterwards.
So we did say that the lunge was going to change when
Yes.
we can finally patch, but first test it in the PTB.
Absolutely.
You want to talk about it?
I would love to talk about it. All right, so more lunge talk. Initially, we've spoken about limiting the amount of movement you can do left and right while you perform a lunge. We tried it out. We tested it internally, and we saw that it was quite limiting the players and what their movements were. And for how the game works and pallet loops and whatnot, this proved to be a bit too difficult and would require too many changes to go with it. We're exploring now the lock-on. So this is what most people are calling the auto-aim. The way it works right now is that you have an area of effect. If the survivor's within the area of effect, once the weapon starts coming down, actually the weapon will automatically come down if they're within that area. You will then be angled towards the person, and then you will hit them to make it look nice and to ensure the hit. We're going to be removing that tracking system. What this means is that when you're moving forward, you're going to have to let go of the actual attack button yourself. Your weapon will then start coming down, you will take a step, and then the active range will be applied. So if there is a survivor in your range at that point, you will hit them. This gives a lot of opportunity to dodge, moving left or right. We're also exploring extending the lunge range a little bit longer so that you can try to time your attacks better. This isn't directly buffing the killers or in that regard, just because you really do have to time your attacks and make sure you're hitting properly. You have all the movement that you had before, which means you're still being able to tuck around those pallets, wrap around walls to hit somebody who's just sitting by the pallet. You've got many options. It should be very fun. Of course, this will take some adjusting time. Myself, I've used it. I've had some issues at the beginning, but I'm getting more used to it. It's going to be a lot better. Matt himself has tried it out, and he's told me his issues with it as well. So there is testing to be done.
I tried it out.
Yeah.
I tried it out. It's really skillful. You have to be really skillful.
Yeah.
I mean, at first it was frustrating because it wasn't what I was used to.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of like, hey, I'm entitled to this really easy hit as soon as somebody's anywhere near me. But no, in fact, now you have to know how far is he, and you have to have more of a reflex to let go at the right moment to land the hit. And it's tough, man. It's tough, but when you get it,
It's very rewarding.
it's very rewarding.
Yes.
Oh my
It's
God,
very,
yeah.
very rewarding. So that change, should probably be coming in at about the same time where we balance the maps in terms of palette density,
Mm-hmm.
etc.
Mhm.
So I think that should be a good trade-off for survivors to be able to create their own, get away from the killer tactics.
Oh my God, dodging is so much fun. with this kind
In the
of thing.
face of the lack of as many pallets as you might be used to as survivors, and none of this is official, but we're working on that now and we're testing things out. So.
Yeah. In addition to this change, we've also shrunk the character hitbox, which is basically the collision area that the weapon will find and detect a hit. Right. So instead of being about this large, now it's about this tight, which means that there is a larger margin for the killer to miss, and a larger area for the survivor to actually dodge. This will inadvertently help our camping problem, as killers will now have the opportunity to miss those attacks. It is slightly nerfing the attack in general, because you're no longer tracking directly to a target. As soon as they're found, they're not just hit. This gives more hope to the survivors. Not enough hope that they will always win. That's the idea.
Oh, and these changes shouldn't affect infinites.
Yeah.
Simply because the range of the attack hasn't actually changed. The maximum range shouldn't be changing, right?
No,
So
when I mentioned that the lunge will be a little longer, it's because the auto tracking is when you find somebody, it will add another 2 meters to your hit.
which
By
is why we get some of those weird ghost hits through windows and those kind of weird.
Earlier, I had mentioned that we were going to talk about not being hit through windows or whatnot.
Yeah.
This change actually helps you escape in those situations. So actually jumping over a window will be much more satisfying, and you will be hit less often going through. Now, mind you, if you're talking about latency and lag, you will still be hit.
Happen.
It will still happen. We can't. It's very difficult to adjust that. We're looking into seeing what we can do, but we haven't found a proper solution for that yet. But we do notice that when we're testing with this new lunge adjustment, that people are actually making it through windows. And it feels really tight and really exciting when you get there and you're like, oh my God, I made it. I didn't get hit. And you're just like, what happened? And it's, well, the lunge has changed. So.
Yeah, it does feel cool as a survivor in the sense that it's not impossible for you to get away from that hit, even if the killer's on you.
Yeah, I see a lot of survivors just give up in front of me when I'm chasing them, and I'm just like, I get it, but I mean, like, it just
not
doesn't
anymore.
feel.
So it's all going in the direction where we want the game to be more skill based.
Yeah.
All right, so that's actually a big change. That's actually really big. So basically, you're not going to be able to get like certain ghost hits that you usually do. The nurse is going to get free like snap-on hits and stuff. This is actually a big change. You decide when that weapon comes down. You decide when you want to just try to get someone and everything. And getting through a window can actually be you won't get hit. Like say, if you're like, a few feet from the window and you get hit as you're going through it, that ain't gonna happen unless you're lagging. Of course, that's a whole other different case though. Like they said, but this makes playing killer more skilled based, and the character hitbox is smaller, which also means your attacks are going to be a lot harder for you to hit. So this actually means like 360 juking, that might actually be OP. No, I don't know. I should say OP, but it's gonna be really strong because 360 juking, moving left or right as soon as they swing, and all that stuff's gonna be crazy. So this is gonna actually become more skill based, which I think that's pretty cool. Hopefully I can still play killer. I'm pretty good killer. I'm good, but I don't know if I'm that great. So we'll see. But that's done. We moved on from that. We have another long part coming up for you guys. I'm so sorry for these long parts, but this is the last long one. It's about perks. These are about the perks that are being used, the changes to perks. So this is very important because a lot of perks are getting changed, and this will tell you like how many perks are like the top 10 best perks that people are using. But we're gonna go over that real quick here, guys. Just hang on. This is the last long part.
Bjorn, would you mind bringing up our top 10 Survivor perks?
Top 10. Number 10.
All right. So, number 10. I don't know if this is as blurry on your side, but it is Unrelenting. Number 1, sorry. Unrelenting at 13.75% usage rate amongst all of our player base as killers. Just to give you some quick knowledge on these things. This is actually the top 10 killer perks, sorry, not survivors.
Let's go through these quickly, and then we can...
You want to go through them quickly?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, let's go through them quickly. Bjorn, if you wouldn't mind, thank you. Unrelenting is top, 13.75%. Whispers following up with 8.14%. Brutal Strength is at 8.09 in third place. Iron Grasp at 8.08, very close. After that, you get No One Escapes Death at 6.8. Save the Best for Last at 6.16. Deerstalker at 5.84. Agitation at 5.41, Nurse's Calling at 4.54, and finally, Spies from the Shadows at 2.95. Solo. Just a quick note on Spies for the Shadows. It is not working at the moment. I would suggest using another perk. This will be fixed. It isn't fixed internally right now, and it will be pushed live when we have the opportunity to do so. But as we said earlier, it depends on our engine being more stable.
So don't use that one right now.
Right, that one, yeah.
2.95% of people.
That way.
Don't use it. Not now.
Now you know.
Yeah.
So let's go through them and any changes that we have planned so that everybody knows what's going on.
So for killer perks, we are changing some stuff up. As I was mentioning earlier, Unrelenting is part of the machine gun build. Unrelenting is being changed, as was Save the Best for Last. The Unrelenting change is making it so it's based only off of missed attacks. This is to help newer players learn how to deal with missing their attacks and trying to hit survivors. In general, the better you are as a killer, the less you'd use this perk, I would think, as it's more of a helping aid than something to secure the kills as much. If you're good, you'll be hitting your target. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Whispers. We're exploring the idea that using a locker is going to hide you from whispers. So if you get into a locker and the killer's coming with whispers, the whispers will not activate as long as you are inside the locker. This is adding a gameplay base counter, which Spies from the Shadows already has as well, in which you are crouching. You will avoid startling the crows.
And including having a perk specifically designed to counter it.
Exactly, yeah. Brutal Strength, we currently have no changes planned for Brutal Strength. We like where it currently is. We are looking at palettes, but this is something more for Matt to talk about in a bit.
Palettes.
Yeah, we do have that in our questions at some point.
Yeah. Iron Grasp is being changed. We've mentioned this before. It's going to be reducing the values to their previous values. This is supposed to come in with the hook, auto repair, and the generator damage, which we've spoken about really quickly, which we should be PTBing at some point, again, when the engine is more stable, so we can actually test it properly.
Yeah. So again, as soon as 4.13 patch is out, we'll be able to organize a public test build.
We're very excited about this.
Yeah, it's something we want to do as fast as we can.
The prior values were 25% struggle reduction, 50% and 75%. And the time to struggle out of the grasp is increased by 4, 8, and 12%. This is different than the much higher values that you currently see. Currently, to struggle out of the grasp, it is 36% at its max level. The 12% is a giant reduction.
Yeah.
But
sorry. Historically, we did that because of the sabotage problem.
Absolutely.
So now
initially,
that it's going away.
Yeah.
This needs to change.
Absolutely. Yeah. So No One Escapes Death. We're going to make this into a hex perk, which will be quite interesting. It's adding a little bit more counterplay to the perk instead of just waiting out the 2 minutes. when the exit gates are powered, if there is a dull totem remaining on the map, no one escapes death will be applied to that dull totem. It will then become a hex totem. If you find it and destroy it, the Noid will be cancelled. And you can choose to escape at that point. So you can choose to either try to find the totem or try to take your chances and run past the killer if he is at the exit gates.
Kind of cool.
Yeah, I quite enjoy that one.
Yeah.
I don't believe any of the numbers are changing on that. Save the best for last. You're going to be obsessed with one survivor as long as your obsession is alive after being in a chase for 20 seconds. The cooldown of your next successful attack is going to be decreased by 30, 35, or 40%. Your successful attack cooldown will remain active for 5 seconds after the chase, and reinitializing the chase before the 5 seconds will reset the successful attack cooldown timer. So it should be quite interesting, and this is more for our high-level players who find themselves in longer chases and want to be able to get those 2 hits in to ensure a down. Should be quite interesting, actually. This will not work against the obsession, if I didn't say that. That is part of that. Deerstalker has no planned changes. Agitation also has no planned changes. Nurse Calling has been changed to be affected by Soul Survivor. So Soul Survivor will reduce the Nurse's Calling effects. And finally, Spies from the Shadows will be fixed eventually.
Yeah.
Bjorn, would you like to show the top 10 Survivor perks?
Number 10.
There we go. We're going to start with 1 this time, even though I had screwed that up. Sprint Burst is the top used perk right now at 11.37%.
What's the percentages exactly?
The percentages are based off of the total amount of population. This is about 80,000 hits being used for this. I think at 2% it was down to 20,000, but I might be wrong off that. Double check on the numbers.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I think so. I will hopefully have those for you next time as well. Spine Chill is in the second place with 9.12%. Saboteur at 8.54%. Self-Care at 8.51%. Premonition, 8.1%. Adrenaline at 5.7%. This is the 6th perk. Botany Knowledge is their 7th at 4.12%. Throwing out a bunch of numbers. Decisive Strike is at 4.06 in the 8th position. Interesting. Kindred sits at 9 with 2.85 usage rate, and Dark Sense is at 82, which is also really cool. We're seeing changes in our variations of killer perks. I quite like it. And Survivor perks, sorry. Now I'm going to go find my page. Oh, sorry about that. Sprint Burst was currently buffed. Not buffed, changed, modified.
No.
Sorry.
No, that's not the word you're looking for.
I did not look for buff. It was changed so that the cooldown is quicker when you're standing still versus when you move. We won't be changing it any further at the moment, but we're looking into seeing what we can do if we need to.
Yeah. One thing to know there is that design team is actively looking into a way to make perk progression and how you can equip perk more interesting, so that we allow more or different builds, should I say.
Yeah. Which should be really fun.
Yeah,
I really like that kind of gameplay.
I'm excited about this one, but more on that later.
Yes. Spine Chill will no longer detect the Wraith when invisible. Saboteur will be getting a change where Saboteur and Self-Care will both be getting changes that are quite similar. Saboteur itself will be, the survivor starts with a number of sabotage charges. They'll have a certain amount of ammo. You can choose to use the sabotage charges or a toolbox when you have this active, to choose one or the other. You'll have a 100% chance to find toolboxes from chests, and an increased efficiency of toolbox sabotage by 50, 75%, and 100%. And the final bonus on that one is you display hooks between a 4 meter, 6 meter, and 8 meter radius. These things may change. These are things that we're testing internally. Let us know your thoughts. I'll be happy to hear them. Self-Care will also start with a number of charges. You can choose to heal yourself or use a med kit if you so do choose. You have a 100% chance to find the med kits in chests. Your increased efficiency of healing items for self-heal are increased to 50, 75, and 100%. And your increased healing speed for yourself is 15, 20, and 25%. Those remain the same. Again, these are subject to change if ever we notice that they're too strong or too weak.
So the big thing that we're, obviously these one are going to change a lot, but the big thing, important thing for me here is that these perks become, they have a limit. So you have to think before you're actually going to heal someone or heal yourself, or which tool you're going to use, or your ammo from the perk. So it's gonna create more of interesting scenarios.
Absolutely. By the way, I just saw someone mention, where is Iron Will? That was my question too. Where is it? I love that perk. Blowing my mind. Premonition. There's no change planned for this perk right now. Adrenaline is the same, and same with Botany Knowledge. We like where those currently are. Decisive Strike change. We had mentioned a Decisive Strike change before, I believe, mentioning an item that you need to use to perform the action. We've changed our minds on this, and we have another proposed change. If you are the Obsession, using whatever's at hand, you'll stab at your aggressor in an attempt to escape. Once per match, when you're grabbed by the killer, you're going to succeed a skill check to automatically escape the killer's grasp and have a stun time of 3, 4, and 5 seconds, which is the previous times. But this is only if you're the Obsession. If you're not the Obsession, while in the killer's grasp, once the wiggle meter has reached 45, 40, or 35%, you're going to succeed a skill check to automatically fill the rest of the wiggle bar and escape from the killer's grasp, which will give you the wiggle, grasp, stun time, escape. Now this is going to go on a little tangent. The wiggle, grasp, stun time was... People had asked about it last week, and they're like, is it longer than what we expected? Because we had mentioned that it was supposed to be like 3 seconds.
Yep.
It was a total of 5 seconds. We checked. It's true. It is 5 seconds. The initial time for when the killer is letting go of the person is 1 second. That won't change. But after that time, we'll have a stun time of 3 seconds instead of the 4 seconds, which you were currently stunned as. So you'll save a bit of time, and Decisive Strike shouldn't be as debilitating as it currently was before, or currently is, rather. Kindred will now have the ability to see a trap in a 4-meter range around the hook, and it will be revealed to all survivors. Dark Sense has no planned changes at the moment. And that is all for the perk changes that I have.
Okay. I know that was a lot, guys, but that's the last biggest part. So, basically, a lot of perks are getting changed. Self-care is getting changed, only have 3 charges. Sabo's getting changed, only have 3 charges, so that's only 3 hooks you can Sabo. It's crazy. There's a lot getting changed and all that stuff. It's crazy. The machine gun's getting changed. That's getting gone. That's going away. There's so much. It's crazy. There's so much. Whisper's getting changed. I mean, almost every perk's getting changed at this point. So basically, I want to know your guys' comments and opinions about these changes. So leave a comment below and tell me how you guys feel about those perks. If you watched it, I mean, if you didn't, that's fine. If you skipped it, that's cool. But these perk changes are a big deal. If you did skip it, I would strongly recommend you go and watch it because it's a big deal. Because this is your build. This is like your character. This is their core. You need to watch it. But let me know your comments below. Let me know how you feel about that. And just tell me how you guys feel about it. If you guys like it, if you don't like it, let's see what happens. Hopefully it's not too bad. And so you guys know that those 2 long ones were from last week. Now we're going to be looking at mostly ones from this week. So basically, that's cool, the perk changes, but this is a big change. This is going to change a lot. Characters are going to become more special and stuff. This is going to change a lot. What I'm going to show you guys right here, this is actually a big deal. So you guys really need to let me know how you feel about this change coming, because this is a big change. This is going to change builds and everything. So let's look at it real quick here.
On the design side, we're preparing a system for the builds, and what we're looking into is to limiting the amount of Teachable that you can equip on a character. So the new loadout system would mean 1 Teachable, so 1 unique perk from another character which can be equipped on your character. So we do feel that this will create more interesting builds for killers and for survivors. It's going to mix things up. When you're going to see Claudette, Dwight, Nia, you'll be able to kind of know what they have, but there's always going to be that unknown of that extra Teachable perk. So now that you know, please comment on this type of mechanic. I would be glad to read your comments on Reddit or on the forum, Steam forum. That would be great.
What? Did you hear that? That's crazy. Only one unique perk from a character. 1. That is literally crazy. But I do want to state that someone did have a comment back to this. And by the way, you said 360 Duke I tried to try there. That 360 Duke didn't work out. If this was those changes to the auto aim being gone, that might have worked out. See that right there? That was crazy. But don't worry, I get saved right here, so no one freak out. But we're gonna look at this next part right here because someone did have a question about it.
So someone is saying my Prestige 3 Dwight will be useless if you can't use Sprint Boost and Self-Care. Please find another solution for the Teachables. The whole solution is that, actually. It's the fact that right now, most people will use Self-Care, Sprint Burst, and let's say Sabotage or something like that, probably as a third decisive strike. And it makes for a poor variety, and it also gives very little incentive to pick a specific survivor other than purely visual preferences. So by giving people fewer choices of teachables, it means that then there is value to picking a survivor over another, and it also hopefully means that there's a little more variety in the kind of powers that people bring to a game.
The other thing that we haven't mentioned earlier is that the teachable perk is going to be different than the same perk used on the original character, so that's also going to be quite different.
You will not be able to get the level 3 version of the perk as a
it's
teachable.
It's going to be a different type. So
well, you're saying different, but it's never going to be as good.
No, exactly.
That's
so the
thing.
unique character is always going to be the best with its own unique perk. Now, that said, that's not fixing all of it. It's making it more interesting, but it also means that, I mean, every perk still needs to go through the different changes that we're doing in balance, which are still valid. So what we've discussed last week is still going to come in.
All right, so stepping away from the gameplay real quick here, let me show you guys something real quick here. Okay, so this is my build. This is my Claudette build. I use these perks right here, all 4 of these: landing, sprint, hope, self-care. This is my build. All right, so we're gonna take these off, and let's say it's patch 1.4. All right, so everyone will be unique. It's gonna be interesting. So I can only use 1 teachable from 1 person, 1 teachable. So let's go with self-care, because that's Claudette's. We can use that. That's fine. Let's see here. Sprint burst. Sprint burst would be the 1 teachable I use. I can only use 1 teachable. I can't use any other teachables here. So we would go sprint burst. We can't use balanced landing because that's Nia's. Self-care, of course. Botany, probably botany, and hope. That would probably be. Wait a second. Oh, maybe. This is actually interesting because if we can only use 1 teachable, this would probably be my build right here, flat out. No, wait, maybe we get rid of botany for. Oh, we can't use adrenaline. That's right, it's Megs. Maybe we go botany. This is hard to say. Like decisive strike, you can't use sprint. It's like if you want to use decisive strike, you gotta get rid of sprint burst. If I want to use sprint burst, I gotta get rid of decisive strike. You can't have both now. So this is gonna be very interesting. So that means there's gonna be a lot less decisive strikes or a lot less sprint bursts and other things. So that's really cool. So if you want to play someone here though, like let's say if you want to play Nia, then you can use, this is my Nia build. I don't have all her perks, so let's go back to Claudette real quick. Claudette has all the perks in the game. She's my main. So let's say I'm Nia. I'm Claudette. I'm on Claudette 'cause she has all the perks, but let's say I'm Nia right now. I can use. We'll use sprint burst. That will be my 1 unique teachable that I can use. So sprint burst. We can't use self-care. Balanced landing for sure. Hope. And we can't use self-care. We can't use botany. We can't use adrenaline or decisive. Let's go. We can't use empathy. We can't even use iron will. We'll make it maybe. Maybe we'll make it. We can't use either of those either. I just talked about those. Never mind. Oh, lightweight. Lightweight would probably be good. This would probably be my Nia build if I was on Nia right now with all the perks. So, well, I'll probably run a med kit though, just to be safe if it was Nia, just because I don't have self care. But this is gonna make a lot of different builds because that means you can't use just flat out teachables from everyone. This makes these characters more unique. We'll probably see more Claudettes and Megs for now on because sprint burst and self care, you can use them hand in hand. So that's probably gonna be a big deal. That's probably gonna change a lot of things. That's interesting. I wonder what builds you guys would use on your characters when patch 0.4 comes. That's gonna be crazy. So we're gonna move on to the next new thing that's coming out, and it's actually matchmaking, the ranking. Ranking is getting changed a bit. Listen here, we'll talk about it afterwards. But ranking is getting changed a little bit, not too much.
First step is the different matchmaking that we're working on. That's the first step. Then the other step is league. So the ranking system, the new ranking system, how it's going to work. That's going to help for matchmaking as well. And then some sort of compensation. If you are matched with someone that's out of your league, then you would get compensated with blood points, with ranking points. It depends on what's going to happen.
Alright, so there's a new ranking system, and it's going to be like league. So I'm assuming you got to go through all the normal ranks, and then you get put into league ranks. Or, you know, whatever ranks come after that. So that's pretty cool. There's going to be a new ranking system. I like that. I would actually like it if they changed the pip system, too. Like, make safe pip 10k, and then make actual pipping, like, 15k. Like, make it actually more tougher to rank up. So therefore, only the really good players get ranked up. Plus, you need to remove botting. But anyways, the next part we're going to look at is camping. We all love camping, right? Well, we're going to look at what they're going to do to camping real quick here. So let's take a look.
The first step that we're looking into about camping, yes, it's face camping. There's two mechanics that we're prototyping as a first step. The first one is the ability to, as the survivor on the hook, kick and push or disable the killer if he's too close to you. So when this is timed correctly, then the others have access to you. Now, most people would say, well, no, because he's face camping and he's in the trigger box. So that's the other change that we want to make sure. We want to change the hook on how you can interact with it, so that you don't have to be in the trigger box, but you can choose to save a friend from any angle around the hook, which means that also traps would become less effective in that zone, because you would be able to choose the correct angle. Same thing when you're escaping the hook. You would be able to change where you're going to land. So these are the first couple of changes we're going to do. Is it going to fix the issue? We'll first have to play on our side and see what it changes exactly.
That's a big deal to, like, Trapper and the Hag and stuff. Like, if you think about it, well, I mean, probably more of Trapper than the Hag, because the Hag has a big circle around her trap. But the Trapper, you know how they trap you under the hook? Well, you'll be able to save them from the sides. So trapping on the hook is going to become real pointless here real soon with this patch, if that comes through. So that's going to be really interesting. So trapping on the hooks is going to be pointless. So if you're a Trapper and you do that, I would advise you not to do it anymore. Get used to it, because it's not going to work out, because they can save from the sides. Other than that, you could kick the killer in the face if he's face camping you, and it will stun him. It'll be like, oh! And then they'll be able to save you. That's cool. That's a big deal right there for face camping. Sorry, guys. Face camping's out. Next video, though, we're going to talk about, the next clip is Bannable. So doing this, the exploit for disconnecting to keep your items, is Bannable. We're going to look at it real quick here, and then I'll talk about it right afterwards.
Also, we do know about some exploit with disconnecting. These are all going to be fixed as much as we can, as fast as we can. Exploiting the game like this can end up into a ban.
So those of you who disconnect and get this exploit to keep your items because people get upset, oh, I'm dying, I'm going to lose my purple flashlight, my purple med kit, my purple toolbox, oh no, I'm going to die, lose it, I better disconnect, and then you get to keep it. Well, I've been in matches where people have done this. I've been the killer and people have done it. I've been in survivors and people have done it as survivors. It's bannable. So I would strongly recommend all you people who do it out there, because I know a lot of people who do it. Be a man, lose the item, or you're gonna get banned, and it's not good. That exploit, yeah, I'm sorry, but you really should not be doing that exploit. It is bannable, so really you shouldn't be doing it. It's just wrong in the first place. Sorry. So basically, we're coming to the end of this, and we're gonna go over a few more things, not a whole lot. Basically, we're gonna be wondering, when is this patch coming out into the game live?
When will you bring that big patch into the game? So we're saying 2 weeks. About.
Yeah.
Alright, so the patch is coming out in 2 to 3 weeks, hopefully. Hopefully. No promises, don't get your hopes up if it doesn't, but probably most of this, if not all, is coming out in 2 to 3 weeks. That's crazy. That's crazy. So we haven't had a patch. And oh my god, it's been like, what, 3 months we haven't had a patch? We haven't had anything new? It's crazy. 3 months and we haven't had anything new in the game. So, this big patch is coming in 2 to 3 weeks, hopefully. It could get called back, things could go wrong, but in 2 to 3 weeks, we're gonna have this patch, and it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be freaking awesome, and I cannot wait. I'm excited for it. I love DBD. I'm gonna be playing this game to like the end of time, and that's just me. I love playing this game. This game's amazing. I love it, and I'm probably still gonna be playing it. No matter what they do to it, I'm gonna be playing it. We also heard new items are coming out. Perks, survivors, map, all that stuff's coming out, but that's gonna be in the future probably. It's probably not gonna be this patch. So I want to leave you guys with this. The devs showed us what's underneath the nurse's mask. Yes, we know what's underneath the nurse's mask. Can you believe that? They showed us what's underneath the nurse's mask. That's crazy. So we actually know what she looks like now. For all you who missed the stream, I'm going to show you guys the clip in this video at the end of it of what the nurse truly looks like, who the nurse killer really is. But thank you guys all so much for watching. I hope you guys all have a great day. I hope you guys all have great matches out there. And I just hope you guys all enjoyed the stream. I hope you all take care, and I will see all of you guys in the next one. Peace!
Oh, yeah!
We have a thing!
Thank you, Bjorn! Again! So, a lot of people was asking to see the nurse Ed under the sack. They want to see the model. So we prepared an image, and last week it didn't work because we had technical issues.
I actually watched you fail from all the way to Taipei. I woke up in the middle of the night, you were doing your stream, and I watched that little screen tell me that that image was not working.
So let's check it out now.